Okay, this is my presentation for my app, the Sports Watcher. Um, I wanted to make this because I like to watch sports, and sometimes you don't have time to watch it live, and you would rather watch it afterwards. This might not be that exciting, and therefore you might want to have some knowledge about the sporting events that have been, so you can select what you want to see. So basically, because you watch it on replay, you have the benefit of, yeah, that it's already been, and you can select by some parameters um, that might define how exciting those events were. Okay, so let's look at that. As you can see now, right now I'm signed in. I can sign out, so start from the beginning. As you can see, the index page changes accordingly to whether you're signed in or not. So I'll just sign in with my Google account, log on, and this is my user page. This is not my real profile picture, so I'll go in and I'll change that one. There we have a nice picture, and I change it, and it deletes the old one, and this is now my new profile picture. And this uses the blob store. So for me, it started out when I was in Norway, because I like to watch the UFC, which is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I think that's very exciting. But most of the events are in America, so they're in the middle of the night in Norway, and so that makes it very hard to watch it live. And also, not many of my friends like to watch it, so I mostly watch it alone the day after. And my problem was that such event um, had a lot of fights, and some were good, some were bad. But when you watch it on replay, it's you really want to make sure that you watch the ones that are good. So I wanted to be able to see which fight ended by decision and which ended by either a knockout or a submission, because those matches were often more interesting. But also, sometimes you have very exciting matches that go to a decision. So what I wanted was something that could show you whether it ended by decision or not, and also a kind of rating system where people can rate on events that have been. So without spoiling anything about how it went, you can get a feeling of how good it was. So if a lot of people rate it up, it indicates that it was exciting. And yeah, so I chose the UFC as one sport area because that was the origin of the idea. The problem with it was that it was hard to find any free APIs. Um, there were some fight metrics, but that was not free, and it was mainly for business purposes. I asked about the key, but it wasn't even I wasn't even able to buy it. So what I did was I made a web crawler or a spider or a web, yeah. So I use the Wikipedia pages. I tried first using their API, but that turned out to give you everything else than the actual data on the page. So I made a crawler or a web scraper that uses so that gave me the ability to use the Wikipedia as kind of an API. I just because the structure of the pages is very generic. So yeah, I'll show you later. And also I chose soccer leagues because when we're here in America, um, there's a lot of the Champions League and soccer matches go on difficult time for us here now. So that would also be interesting to be able to see on replay. And also, that was one of the few sporting APIs that were actually free. So let's carry on. Okay, so let's say I want to watch a UFC event. I'll go in here, and this one scrapes a Wikipedia page and displays all the events that has been in the UFC in a long list. I wanted to have every event that has been, because a lot of time it's fun to watch an old event with the fighters you don't know, or maybe they are stars now but they weren't before. So it's always cool to download the old card and watch it. And this one is up to the latest. So let's just take a random one, this one for instance, and this is how it looks like. So we have fighter 1 and fighter 2 throughout and this is the whole fight card. So what I was very interested in was maybe to know whether the fight was stopped or not. So let's say these guys are the headliners, so I want to watch them anyway. But these guys are not that famous. I don't know them that well, so I want to make sure that it was a cool fight. Now I just click here where it says stopped, and it tells me whether the fights were actually stopped or not. So now I know, no, this one went to a decision. Okay, that's 50 minutes and I don't want to watch that one. But the other ones here, those I want to watch. And just to make sure, you can also choose the method. So let's say I want to see a submission, only fights with submissions, because I like the grappling game a lot. So I can see, this one ended by KO, punches. And this one, submission, mounted triangle armbar. Wow. And this one too. Okay, great. So now I know a lot more about which one I want to see, those two in particular. What also worth to mention is that the those two these fighters are saved as winner and loser, but the order they come in is random. Just yeah. So if I would refresh the page now, we would see that they might change place, they might not. So this is so I will not know anything about whether they, yeah, who won or not. So what we also can do, let's say this one, who was a decision, was very exciting. So I really liked it and I watched it. So I'll can vote it up. As you can see, it got a vote up here. So now, if a lot of people do this, then I might say, oh, okay, this one was not ended, was not stopped, but a lot of people liked it, so I might want to watch it. And also, if a lot of people are using this, I might choose which fights to see just based on the votes. And let's say this one, I want to watch it later maybe. This one, I can press save it, and I can write a comment. So this is a sub fight. This is a note for me so I can know that it will ended by submission. And I can do submit. If I now go back to my user page, I can look. I have in saved matches. This one is now here. This is a sub fight. So this is the note, this is the fight card that it was on, and these are the fighters. So I can do this with multiple of them and add them down. And Later, I can just look at my notes, which one I want to see. And when I watch them, I can remove them from my page. As you see, they're gone. Okay, so another thing we can do also, these two index pages can take a lot of time to load because they need to check the latest version, and that is why they both are also mem cached. So we can probably see it now. When I switch now, it goes pretty fast, and this one, yeah, you can see it takes longer time, but if I do it now, it should go, yeah, it goes fast. In the UFC part of the app, I can also show the last part, which is comments. So a lot of times on forums there are a lot of comment threads to the fight cards, and I also added it here. So I can say this was the card of the year. And you can see it comes here with my name and the comments. So I can make more comments, and it's pretty basic. I want to make nested comments, but yeah, didn't get that far, and it was also a little time consuming to test that with different users. The next part is the soccer leagues. So since we needed to use a JSON API, I started looking around for other sports, and soccer was one of them that had a JSON API that was free. So, or at least these leagues were free. In the UFC part, it scrapes the web page for the indexes or the links to the right pages, and when you click on the link, it starts scraping that corresponding page on Wikipedia and adds it to data store, and it it's redirects you to a page where it loads it back from data store, the data, and serves it to you. This is because of the UFC. The way that works is that when an event is done, it's done, so all the information is there. So if you need to load it, you only need to do it once. Here, on the other hand, we use the JSON API, and it looks similar, but when you look at the code, you can see it just does the JSON request, and there we are, just a JSON request, and it adds a task queue uh, uh, that takes the request again and checks with the data store how many matches for this league, how many matches that has been played. If the amount of matches that has been played in the JSON request we just made is greater than the data store, or the amount of matches in the data store, then we update the data store. If not, we don't. So the effect of it is that right now we are using data from the JSON API just, and when we do a comment or something, we will go via the data store to get the data from there the next time. So a thing here is that if I made a comment to this one, let's say this was a good match, for instance, I'll do it, and there it comes up. It was already in data store, which was nice. And you can see as I make other comments that here I've connected each comment to each football match because they might be very individual. Cool. So Um, yeah, what we wanted to show, what I want to show here is that I've sorted them accordingly to match days. So it shows the latest match days first, and then it goes down to the older one. But the top ones might be the ones that are most interesting. Um, and what you can get from information here is if there was goal and the goal count, and if you want to know the result, then you can know that as well. So was there goals? No. So then this one should be 0. Away goal should be 0. Home team should be 0. So this is another way to decide. Let's say match day 20. I want to know which matches to see, and I would like to see a soccer game where there are scored goals, and maybe the ones with the highest goals account. So, oh, look at this one. This one I would like to see. And it turns out that the score here was 2-2, so it was a tie, but a lot of goals and probably a very exciting match. Also, the show comments is just doing the same route as the comment, just not adding a comment, and this is so you can show the comments if you want, but yeah, there might be spoilers there, so if you don't want to, you have to click first to show them. And this also works very well with the fact that it's not in the data store the first time you see it. So yeah, this was basically the whole part of the app that I have finished so far. I would like to add some more features if I want to really deploy it and maybe make it more interactive with between users. And also maybe add some favorites and yeah, a way to link it with other people so it can become like a social network. Um, but with Java, my experience is that it takes a lot of time to get things to work together, for me at least. And yeah, I got all the functionality that I wanted and that I need in this app, and I yeah did get what I wanted. So in that sense, I'm happy, and I hope you liked it.